think we might as well move into our flagship asshole of the week. This was a fairly easy one. You may have noticed, and I already mentioned that we cover 5 teams here: the Cubs, White Sox, Tigers, Giants, and the A's. But we've made it a point not to cover the A's because there's really nothing to talk about. The team is, I think they still have the worst record in all of baseball. Not surprisingly, because they have the lowest payroll by far in all of baseball. The A's are in the midst of an ugly negotiations between 2 different cities, whether they're going to actually leave Oakland or move to Las Vegas. Last week, or last in the hole, actually, we talked about this. There was basically the obituaries for the Oakland A's were being written as a binding agreement had been signed between the A's and Las Vegas to move to a piece of property at the end of the strip, I guess. You were familiar with it, at least. Sounded like a great location. $1.5 billion stadium idea that would have a retractable roof. I think it was 35,000 seats. Some seemed well down the road. They had figured all these things out. It was going to be $500 million of Nevada taxpayer money was going towards it.
Of course.
The thing that tripped me up was the word binding agreement. And that just sounded like anything but an actual sale or actual agreement, an actual done deal. And alas, less than 2 weeks later, the announcement came that deal has been nixed in favor of another deal that would only require $395 million of Nevada taxpayer money on a new location on the Tropicana, the casino. It's still on the Strip, I believe.
Holy shit, really? At the Tropicana?
I'm not familiar with Vegas at all. So do you know about the Tropicana?
Yeah, that's like prime. That's pretty good location.
Okay. And you were pretty impressed with the previous location that was rumored, but
yeah, this is good too.
Well, I think you can get excited about this, but I wouldn't get too excited about this either, because if you look at this timeline, originally, I'm finally getting to it. John Fisher, owner of the Oakland A's, has been negotiating for years with the city of Oakland to get a new stadium, and essentially the sticking point is he wants more and more taxpayer dollars to fund his stadium. Originally, or at least the last deal that was on the table, was the Howard Terminal development project that was going to require over $800 million of California taxpayer money. Clearly, that was not going to fly, as now John Fisher has turned to Las Vegas as his savior to pay for his a significant portion of his stadium. The first deal was $500 million. Suddenly, within 2 weeks, that is completely gone. It's off the table, and it's now lost $105 million and now down to $393, which reminds me of a Seinfeld episode where George Costanza is negotiating on behalf of both he and Jerry for their sitcom deal with HBO or with NBC, where he ends up negotiating for less money. And Jerry loses his mind. It's like, are you negotiating in the bizarro world? John Fisher is essentially George Costanza in this scenario, as he is begging for taxpayer money and losing every time. Essentially, his what he was asking for has been cut in half from what he was asking for in Oakland. Now it's below $400 million in this latest deal in Las Vegas. My advice to Las Vegas or Oakland or anyone dealing with John Fisher, just wait. He will cut his price in half once again. Maybe even next week we'll hear about another deal. It's just ludicrous how this has worked out. I'm not privy to how big real estate deals or how these things worked out. But immediately when I saw binding agreement, that raised some red flags. Made me think this is probably not real. But I just couldn't believe it was less than 2 weeks we found out that it was not real. So By the way, I learned a little bit more about John Fisher. I didn't know a whole lot about him. I'd rather not know much about him, but you know how he earned his money?
Junk bonds.
No, he is the heir to the
Fisher
Gap.
Nuts?
No,
The
the
Gap?
Gap
Oh.
empire, retail clother empire.
Yes.
I knew that they were that corporation started in San Francisco. I had no idea John Fisher was an heir to that. So he's worth $2.2 billion, none of which he created. He was born into it and now has the Oakland A's as a plaything and is asking taxpayers. If you and I lived in Nevada, or California, he'd be asking us to help him pay for his stadium. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to see this number go down and down and down. And I think it's fucking hilarious because John Fisher is an asshole.
There you go. I don't disagree. He's got a lot of Reinsdorf in him there.
Very interesting.
Except Jerry didn't let the number go down.
Well,
he's a shrewd negotiator.
Jerry is very shrewd in many ways.
Wordhole Media.